And so this is Lexi.
And so Tiny and Lexi, were they just out on the street, or
Just
did
out
you
on
have to
the
set
street.
that up?
Yeah. So my process, and this is Eve Black. So my process was, I would after work, I would grab my little camera bag, and usually pull an intern or assistant out with me, and we would walk up and down on Christopher Street. And I actually is Nancy here? Yeah, there she is. So Frankie Marks was my partner in crime, and she and I would go and work together in trying to convince people to allow me to photograph them. So there's really no agenda. There was no specific thing that I was.
So how did you go and approach them? Because my fear would be if say that I wasn't out in the world and it wasn't so public and open, and someone came up to me and was like, did you tell them what the project was?
Well, I didn't know what it was a project. I just said that I was just
Okay.
taking pictures. I started it off where I'd show them a business card, and I would say, my name is Mark Seliger. I'm a photographer. I do a lot of magazine work, but I live in the neighborhood, and I'm really interested in, kind of preserving a little bit of the life in photography. And then Frankie would jump in, who was wonderful in terms of being able to just kind of wrangle them. And then we had to get model releases signed, and a couple of my very early subjects were really, really skeptical about signing a release for a lot of reasons, probably.
So how do you gain that trust?
Well, I think part of the process for me was always
get people relaxed.
Part of the process for me was being able to just talk to them and mini interview, to be able to find out who they were, to engage with them, to quickly put them in front of my camera, and just sometimes it would be 5 pictures, sometimes it would be 3 rolls. And I think that's a skill set that you get after years of doing it, is that you just find how to engage with people and to bring them in order to be able to photograph them. One thing that was really honest about the experience was that most of my subjects had really never been photographed before like that. And so for them, it was like there was a real newness to it. And I think to be able to be seen for them was a really special moment, to be recognized and to be adored in a sense. And we just treat it like we do a normal shoot, where we're engaged and we take care of the lighting and we make sure that the pictures are beautiful. And I think that they really felt that.
Exactly. My whole thing would be the sense of being someone who doesn't necessarily often, specifically when I was a lot more vulnerable and younger, not feeling comfortable enough with the world or trusting of the world. And so someone engaging with me in that way, saying, I want to take your portrait, I can see that level of like, wait, hold up, what are you here to do? Why are you trying to take advantage of me? Yeah. And so breaking through that, I was wondering.
Well, and I think that there were some sort of moments that felt like we had to break down those walls, and we had to engage with our subjects to try to bring them out, to bring that personality out. But once we started, it was just like a beautiful blooming of a subject, and it was important for me because I hadn't really taken that type of approach to photography, and probably since the beginning of my career, and I really loved the idea of it feeling more documentary. And we didn't style people, we didn't tell people what to wear, we just wanted it to be the experience of life through kind of just being on the street.
So when did the focus of the book become, so you started 3 years ago, you had an idea that there were these people existing in a neighborhood that you live in and work in. Interesting.
It was more about the idea that Christopher Street represented some type of like a safe haven. It was like this kind of special place that you didn't really see in the West Village anymore, and it was always kind of just moving, and life was moving there. So that was really the impetus behind going there, and because it was my backyard. And then the next phase was like trying to understand what the story was, because we had 10 portraits, but we didn't know what the story was. And then I remember Danielle Ruther, who worked in my office, walked up and we were looking at the pictures going like, what are we, is we doing anything here? And she goes, oh, you have a transgender story. I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about that. And we kind of uncovered what it was. And, you know, there was nothing in the news. There was nothing that was like promoting us to do it. It was more about just enjoying the process of being on the street, getting to know people, finding that there was this kind of wonderful openness to it. And I was learning something. And I was learning something about, you know, a completely new culture for me.